Hello everyone, and welcome back to Real Life Struggles. I'm giving this blog idea one more try. The last video didn't do very good, but also it might have just been a bit of a boring blog to go through. So let's try one more time. And if it's still not getting any views, well then we'll just go back to what we were doing before. Okay, so what we have here is, if Tower of Babel was a rocket project, why was it called a tower? I think the answer is because it's a tower, not a rocket. But let's see what he thinks. All right, to a non-philologist, it makes a lot of sense to ask for these verses. And they said, "Come, let us make a city and a tower, the top whereof may reach to heaven. And let us make our name famous before we be scattered abroad into all lands. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of Adam were building." And that is Genesis 11 verses 4 and 5. Well, like I said in the previous video, if you haven't watched it, look up here. But as I said in the previous video, a lot of the stories in the beginning of the Bible probably aren't 100% historical. They're just reflecting the storytelling of the ancient Hebrew people. So they were stories that the ancient Hebrew people told. So probably in reality, this section of Genesis 11:4, didn't really happen for real. It was just stories people told after the flood. But let's keep going. This question, "Hey Hans, you say it was a rocket they tried to build. Oh yeah, we know you don't think it would have worked. They didn't have hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, fueling." And excuse this person's grammar and spelling mistakes. I know some people like to really go into that, but I'm guessing he's not a native speaker, judging by the fact there's a lot of foreign languages in this blog. Why does the Bible say tower and not a rocket? Well, it says tower because they built a tower. I don't know any other way to say that. Well, the answer is, if it was a rocket, what would it have been called? Rocket. No language I know of has an own word meaning primarily rocket. English. Let's see. English has rocket, which means primarily rocket, as a loan word in English, but it is a loan from Italian, where the primary meaning is distaff. Actually, let's look that up. 1610s, projectile consisting of a cylindrical tube of pasteboard filled with flammable or explosive matter. From Italian rocchetto, a rocket, literally a bobbin, diminutive of raucous distaff. So called because of cylindrical shape. Oh hey, look at that. He was correct. That's cool. But here's the thing. I can't say about Hebrew because I know very few words in Hebrew. I don't know the grammatical structure and how they form words. But if they were building a rocket, then there would be a Hebrew word for rocket. It would probably be some kind of descriptive thing like shooting tube or something. I mean, that's how it works in Chinese. You know, a train in Chinese is ho che. It's a fire vehicle. There's a lot of languages in the Asian area, which this would be considered part of Asia. You know, it's the Near East Asia instead of the Far East Asia like China and Japan. So they would probably have a term where the meanings of the words would describe something that catches on fire and shoots into the air. I don't see any reason why this would be a rocket. Okay, you may not believe me just like that. It takes some explanation. Okay, I hope you do have a very good explanation for this. Rocket is from an Italian word relating to textile production. A rocket, from Italian rocchetto, is a missile, spacecraft, aircraft, or other vehicle. All right, we already read the definition. I thought it was distaff, not bobbin, because the related German and Swedish words are second halves of words. Spin, rock, and spin, rock are the same root as word shadow. All right, well, that's cool. You can learn a little German and Swedish as we're looking at this. Okay, the English rocket adopted from Italian because it looks like a bobbin or spool used to hold the thread. All right, that's cool. Okay, then it's a kind of bobbin that belongs to a spinning reel, not unrelated to the distaff. First, fine explanation, basically as I thought. Okay, that's basically what we read in Google. You stick a firework rocket into the ground. What you stick into the ground is a stick attached to the rocket, on which the lowest part remains free and has a fuse attached. Looks like the wool on the spool. Okay, that's still cool. Italian razzo comes from Latin radius, equaling ray. A radius on a circle has center like a light source. Rays all directions. A ray in this sense has the rays going one way. French calls the thing fusee. Sword hill. Okay, this is getting kind of boring for me too. You guys can read. Let's skip to something that is actually cool. And Greek has for rocket, I'm going to probably say this wrong, Pyrablos, which means fire flute. Okay, none of these are a tower. Now the primary reference for all of these are the firework rocket, and the space rocket only gets the same name because it looks like a much larger version of same form, and especially has the same propulsion. But what if the earliest attempt at building a rocket was a space rocket? What would you call it? I'd perhaps go for tower. Well, I wouldn't. I would go for a tube that shoots in the air, however you say that in ancient Hebrew. I would not be shocked. A space rocket at takeoff looks like a tower. Okay, he does have a small point, but I think it's completely missing the point of what this is. And the pre-Babel Hebrew, unlike the English from 1566, had no Italian or other language to borrow word for in the meaning of rocket. Yeah, but they would have invented one. Just like the way we got English and Italian and every other language that came into being after Hebrew, we got by inventing words. And then enough people used those words that we accepted the definition of the word they invented was the, definition that they invented for the word they invented. I don't know how anybody can read that verse and think it's a rocket. Gentlemen, this is why philology is so interesting. Well, yeah, it is if you actually, have a point. Let's look at some things. Let's see if he could even be close to that. When was gunpowder invented? Gunpowder was invented in China sometime during the first millennium AD. The earliest possible reference to gunpowder appeared in 142 AD during the Eastern Han Dynasty, when the alchemist Wei Boyan, also known as the father of alchemy, wrote about a substance with gunpowder-like properties. Okay. 600 BCE, a tower that the legendary epic dated to about 2300 BCE, or BC, according to biblical chronology, derived. Alright, so we have a small problem. So 2300 plus, let's say, 150. 2450 years before they invented gunpowder, you think the Hebrews were building a rocket to reach heaven? What did they use to launch the rocket? What would they have used to launch the rocket if their languages weren't confused by God in the story? Also, why have we never had any kind of, archaeological discoveries to... Why don't we have any discoveries to confirm this? If they were able to invent something like gunpowder, why did over 2,300 years go past without anybody using this? You think they would have figured out if they can launch a rocket, they can put a sharp stick in a tube and launch it at somebody? We would have had artillery. When was artillery invented? When was artillery invented? The earliest artillery was 14th century. So yeah, at least your last blog, it kind of followed, you know, standard young Earth creationist talking points and viewpoints, but how do you even connect these? This is like way out there. I don't know. This is weird. But yeah. Okay. I am not sure what we just read. I am not sure how anybody would read a biblical story. Let's just assume it is true. It really happened. I mean, people built a tower and they wanted to reach God. How would anybody connect that to a rocket? I mean, I can't even think of words in English or Spanish or Chinese to, Alright, I was trying to find something. I do remember watching maybe Inspiring Philosophy or possibly Beyond the Words by Brandon Robbins, which both the channels are linked in the description of all my videos, and it's actually a really good series, both of them. Both people have really good videos about how to understand the ancient Near Eastern culture, because a lot of times when we read a Bible story, especially Old Testament, it doesn't mean what you think it means. Case in point, if I can find it, I'll link the video, which will do a much better job of explaining what reaching heaven meant and why they were trying to build this tower. I don't even want to try to guess what it means from off the top of my head, because really, I'm sorry, I kind of don't remember. But anyway, if you do like this video, please let me know. I don't want to keep making videos no one watches and then lose subscribers. You know, I'm still under 200 subscribers. I got to keep everyone I have. Speaking of, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I normally do reactions to videos, which is a bit more exciting to me, but I was challenged to do some blogs. So yeah, if you can leave some comments, subscribe, like, and share, that would be awesome. I can't think of English.